And on the topic of political violence, there was an alleged attack on Tim Pool where somebody apparently drove up to his complex in West Virginia and shot at the building. He said several shots were fired. And now Colin Rugg is reporting Tim Pool says there is a possibility that his show will end in the next 2 weeks following death threats and his property being shot up. Quote, "We have to have these conversations. There is a possibility that the 19th is the last episode of Timcast IRL. We are doing everything we can to make sure that's not going to be the case. It's no secret that I've been frustrated and disillusioned with a lot of people in politics, but that's no reason to walk away from doing our nightly show. But the cost is not just money anymore. The cost is safety of my family and myself." So let's listen to what Tim has to say.
With the people, our contract. So where does that leave us? We have 2 weeks left in the year before we go on our Christmas hiatus. You know, I'm not a big fan of any kind of hiatus. I would prefer just to work. But it is taxing. It is grueling, of course. And there's a lot of infrastructure here that requires me to work all day, every day, Monday to Friday, with some extra work on the weekends.
And Tim is like a workaholic, to be clear.
Usually meetings.
So I think he's going to end up not doing this personally just because he's a workaholic, but...
And I'm probably going to have a stroke. My health's actually pretty good. My blood pressure is great. My resting heart rate is actually around 45. I exercise quite a bit. Haven't been able to skate in the past month or two, the holidays, and But we have to have these conversations, and I have been with the people, our contractors, people we work with, our vendors, partners. And one thing is clear: the violence will get worse. It is going to escalate. We cannot keep going as status quo. Something has to change. It may be that, as we described after the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the threat to come and shoot up our studio and our workplace, we asked, at what point do we say we can't do this anymore? The cost of running Timcast IRL Studio and the projects around it exceeds the amount of money it brings in. That's just that breaking point, isn't it, for any business? If you need $100 to, run your restaurant, but you're only bringing 90, you go out of business. The issue? The cost isn't cameras or lights. The cost is security because of the escalation. It's an artificial cost to doing business that we can't balance.
Now, what he's saying is correct. I mean, post the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and in this kind of new world we live in, which is a constant, not that this wasn't the case before, this constant onslaught of death threats and threats to come to your house and kill you, something I deal with and have to manage as well. It is difficult because security is extremely expensive. And this is something I have to weigh every time I go out. How much security to get, whether or not to get security, whether to go undercover, whether to be out of cover, whether to live stream, whether to not live stream. Because it's a lot of trade-off. And while those death threats, that constant onslaught of death threats, and I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to come to your house, all that stuff, it all existed before Charlie Kirk was killed. But it all feels a lot more real in a world post 2 recent assassinations on President Trump, because it's really been more like 5 or 6 actual attempts to kill him, and post the actual live stream assassination of Charlie Kirk. Every threat is more credible now than it has been in the past. And this is something that Tim has talked about a lot as well. But with that being said, you can't fold. You can't fold and lay over and let them win. Because if we do that, all we are going to do is teach them that it works. and more people are going to get killed. Because it teaches them, if you kill people, you erase Tim Pool. If you kill somebody, not only do you erase Charlie Kirk, you erase Tim Pool and anybody else who subsequently falls off, stops, quits, gives up. I do this because I believe in it. And if somebody is going to try to kill me, like, this is just something that you have, like, especially when you're sitting in the chair on college campuses, or you're, in a violent mob of leftists who want to kill you. It's just something, it's like, if somebody's going to try to kill me, they're going to try to kill me. There's not really any escaping it. Do I give up? Do I give up my life's work? Do I give up the thing that I care about most, in terms of ideas, or, obviously the first thing I care about most is my girlfriend, but do I give up the non-personal, the non-human entity thing that matters the most out of anything to me, which is the truth, which is making this country better, because somebody's wants to kill me? It's the same trade-off as being a police officer. Being a police officer, every day you go to work, somebody might try to kill you. Somebody might stab you with a hypodermic needle that leaves you with some incurable disease, HIV, HPV, whatever it is. You risk that somebody bashes you in the head, that you get serious injury every day. If you join the military, every single day that you go to work, you risk being killed, even if you don't leave the homeland. Now, with the recent assassination of the 2 National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C., that's a reality for a lot of occupations. And a lot of times the people in those occupations don't leave them because of the risk. Because what they're doing is more important than the risk to their single persons. I feel that the work I do is more important than the risk to my person. Not that I think I'm going to get killed. I hope it never comes to that. But you can't just pack up and quit, because there's risks, and there's a possibility that somebody will come try to hurt you. And I don't think that Tim will. I think that his show is going to continue. I think that it might be something he's considering at this time, but I don't think it's going to end. Let's see what else he has to say.
We can't forego security, but we can't sustain it either. So I've had some conversations with our partners, been talking with Rumble. There may be a solution, and it's going to be rapid change very quickly. We're going to have some emergency meetings. We've already had emergency meetings for obvious reasons. And there is a possibility that the 19th is the last episode of Timcast IRL. We are doing everything we can to make sure that's not going to be the case. It's no secret that I've been frustrated and disillusioned with a lot of people in politics, but that's no reason to walk away from doing our nightly show with a tremendous success. But the cost is not just money anymore. The cost is the safety of my family, myself, and there are many ideas we're floating around.
And I do understand all of the concerns and issues that Tim has, because they're the same concerns and issues that I have. I've had people literally attempt to kill me and almost succeed, and then text my phone that they know where I live, and then try to buy a gun right after. Like when I got attacked in Seattle and almost killed, literally attacked me with steel-plated gloves, and I don't know where the helmet is, but literally, like, his knuckles are indented into my helmet. If I wasn't wearing a helmet, which I almost didn't, by the way. I rarely wear helmets. At that point, I rarely wore helmets to protests. I only wore one because Jonathan Cho texted me and said, hey, man, like, they might be throwing rocks today. If you're going to be close to the police lines getting coverage, you might want to wear a helmet just in case, like, a stray rock hits you in the head. And I was like, oh, great point. Because oftentimes these protests, you're kind of like near police lines, then you're in the mob, and then you're near the police line, whatever. And so I wore a helmet that day, and then they jumped me. They literally held me down and beat me over the head with steel-plated gloves. And if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I'd be dead or in critical condition. And then that person, while the Seattle Police Department failed to prosecute that person, failed to arrest him, he texted my personal phone number, giving out personal details about me, saying he was going to, he has my address. He then texted me from an anonymous number, said that he had my address, that he was going to come. He's sending me my entire family's names, my extended family. It's a real threat. It's a real concern. It's not a joke. So I understand Tim's concerns there, but if we surrender, if we give up, we are surrendering this country to them. Because if Tim quits, he won't be the first one to quit. Or sorry, he won't be the last one to quit. More people will quit in his wake due to the same concerns. And if we do that, we are surrendering this country to them. To those people, the people who killed Charlie, to the people who attacked me, to the people who shot into Tim's complex, to the people who previously shot into his house. We are surrendering to them. And they will take over. Because they will have no opposition. And we can't let that happen. It is paramount. Because it's not just me and my family. It's not just Tim and his family. It's our entire posterity. It's the future of our country. Every American who will live from this point forward. The Americans who are born within our lifetime. The Americans that have already been born. The Americans that will be alive long after we're dead. We are condemning them if we give up and surrender. And so we can't. And to be clear, again, I don't think that Tim will. I think that his show will continue. I think that he will continue doing what he's doing. But hey, that is what it is. So I wanted to make you guys aware of that.